Welcome to the Genesis Pod, your ultimate destination for real estate brilliance, business empowerment, and community growth. At the Genesis Pod, we're on a mission to turn dreams into reality because everyone deserves a sanctuary they proudly call home. Get ready to dive into a world of expert wisdom where we unveil the secrets of successful real estate investment and entrepreneurial triumphs. Whether you're a seasoned player or a newbie in the game, our seasoned pros are your guides through the intricate business labyrinth. Join us and let's embark on this exciting journey together as we build not just properties, but legacies. Tune in, ignite your aspirations, and become a part of the Genesis Pod family.
Hey everyone! Finally! Hi Kyle.
Hi.
So what's new? I finally get you on here. So you're a man of many talents and stuff like that. So let people know who you are. You're muted. I can't hear you.
You hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Kyle Page, and I am a cannabis social advocate, speaker, a retail dispensary owner, operator, cultivator, just all around cannabis person. I love weed. I love what it stands for. I love the culture of it. I love everything that I'm doing now for Last Prisoner Project, as well as Freedom Grow and the Sense Collab. So yeah, I mean, I wear many hats, not just this one.
So, and this is the part that I really wanted to discuss was what got you into cannabis, to be brutally honest.
So I started off smoking weed just like most people do as a teenager with friends, and I didn't really get into like the actual culture of cannabis until until I got arrested for it. I got arrested at the age of 18 and went to jail for it for 2.5 years, went to prison. And some about me is that like when somebody tells me not to do something and I know that it's okay or it's right, I am going to push the system. And so it drove me down this road of figuring out. I mean, I've always been interested in the plant, but like exactly everything about the plant. It really it took me down a rabbit hole, which popped me on the other side as a cannabis aficionado. So that's kind of what brought me to cannabis, was pretty much a FU to the system.
Why cannabis? You could have said F you to a lot of things.
So cannabis has always been something for me. I mean, my dad smoked weed. Everybody in my neighborhood smoked weed growing up. But just the first time that I smoked weed, it was first of all, it was a way of connecting with other people. Throughout smoking weed, I've talked to people and become friends with people, done business with people that I normally wouldn't have spoken to if we didn't sit down, smoke that joint or blunt, and realize that we're pretty much chasing the same things. It's a conduit or a bridge. A bridge is a better word for between different cultures, and that's just one of the many things, but it's one of the main things that really attracted me to it.
What now? There's one thing of being attracted to it. It's another thing to advocate for it. Where did that transition? Where did you say this is it? This is where what I'm. This is the fight.
So my last conviction, the one that I just got off of parole for, where I served 6.5 years inside of the prison and then 2 years on parole. During that time, I truly evolved into this advocate person. While incarcerated, I got involved with many programs. While you're in there, you can choose to go negative or positive. I chose to go positive because I already know what negative does. So let's see what positive does. I'm a pretty positive person anyway. Even throughout everything, I've always been positive. So after getting involved with all of the classes and other things in there, I started to get more into the nonprofits. I was in prison with a gentleman named Dante Westmoreland, who joined Last Prisoner Project, which was how he actually reached back in and got me out early to be home with my family. But just to get involved with that, it struck a fire within me. It sparked something within me because I've always felt that cannabis is. I'm like, why are we going to jail like this is crack or heroin? You know, why is this happening? I know that there's medical benefits. I see that when people smoke, they're not acting the same as when people drink. So why is this so illegal? And so doing more research and looking at the racist birth of the cannabis prohibition, which went against Hispanics and African Americans and such, as well as the counterculture, the hippie culture and stuff. It really just struck something in me where I'm like, you know what? This government, this system is full of crap. This is crazy. People have to fight. And so I use my voice, I use the way I can articulate words, my eloquency to bridge that gap between people like me who you might see on the street and think that we're going to rob you, but I'm never going to rob you. So I want to bridge the gap between what people see on the media and what's reality.
Yeah, you brought something really interesting about bridging the gap. As we discussed in the beginning, or as you mentioned in the beginning, you also are a businessman. So you also work in the industry, not just advocate for it.
Yes.
And the one thing I have a such profound respect for you on is showing what post legalization would look like. Why is that part important? I know it sounds like a generic question, but I feel like there's so many layers to you that I need people to see those layers.
So I think that post prohibition, the reason that I'm fighting so hard post prohibition, one, because we're not all the way done with prohibition. Until we have it federally legal and the scheduling of the cannabis plant is dropped down, we're still under prohibition. The fact that you have certain people, I'm gonna say it outright, the fact that we have white people who are making millions of dollars while people like myself are still getting off parole, people like Antonio and Wyatt are still serving sentences. To me, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. So therefore, with the influence that I've gained since I've been home, I am going to get people out. I am going to help people when they come home. That the post prohibition fight is something it's just as important as the fight to legalize, because we have to fix the damages that have been done for the war on cannabis.
How do you address the common misconceptions associated with it? I think you and I both know that I don't partake in cannabis, but I am for legalization.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason why it kind of turned me around was watching and listening to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I've noticed is that there's lots of myths and lots of misinformation and lots of propaganda. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
So how do you address that and still educate at the same time? Even though it's all education, I feel like you're playing Mythbusters at the same time. So how do you juggle that?
For me, it's natural. It's almost like something that I've been explaining to people since I was, 21, 22 years old, maybe even before that. A lot of people, they think that it's almost like that reefer madness type of stuff. People think they're going to smoke and they're going to rip their clothes off. They're going to run around. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And that's anything but the truth, And so I speak from experience, but I also teach classes on conscious cannabis because maybe a lot of people don't realize that the cannabis today is not the same cannabis for 30 years, 30 years ago. The THC content is way higher, and then you have people that farm for simply CBDs or CBNs or CBGs, or there's so many different layers to it now that it does actually take a conscious cannabis overview for people to get the right effect. And so, like I said, it's organic for me to be able to knock back those misconceptions and speak the truth.
You are doing a lot of traveling in the name of advocacy. This month, because go out in April, you will be in DC.
Yes.
What is that like for you? From someone who went from just getting paroled and just getting that sense of freedom and everything to essentially being in the same district as the White House or Congress or
Yeah.
all of that. So tell us what that's like.
For me, it's poetic justice. It's it's the epitome of the government throwing dirt on me, but me blooming into a flower out of that. The fact that I am able to go down there, be a speaker for the National Cannabis Festival, stand shoulder to shoulder with people like the Last Prisoner Project and Freedom Grow and Normal and countless others. I mean, for me, it's surreal. I'm by it, but I'm also fueled. I cannot wait to get in front of senators and congressmen, and so that they can look me face to face and look at the people that they are incarcerated. Look at this American man that you took from his daughter, from his mother, and from his friends, and now I'm a prominent person in the cannabis industry. So I want them to look at me as a representation of other people out there that if you give them the education, if you give them that chance, we will be successful. The whole thing is you can't force us to do something that, like you think is right. You need to understand that we the people, and I can't wait to get down there. So that's how I'm handling that right there. I really, I take everything with a sense of and honor and respect, honestly. That's what it is.
That is true. One thing we need to touch on is explain the Last Prisoners Project.
So the Last Prisoner Project is a nonprofit organization that helps people that are, incarcerated for nonviolent cannabis offenses, as well as they have for returning citizens. They help people when they come home. They might give you some money so that you can get on your feet. A lot of people come home with nothing. They don't have family or whatever the case, so they need that help. So the state government will give you $100 and tell you to figure it out, and then lock you up when you don't have a place to stay or a job or anything else. So we need people like the Last Prisoner Project. The fact that they help to get me my good time back, to come home with my family for Christmas. I know to other people it sounds trivial, but when you spent 6 Christmases away from your family, to get that one it's important. It's important. So the Last Prisoner Project is a line of defense for people like myself. They help with attorney fees. They help to get people out. They help to get people good time. They help to get people reintered back into society comfortably. They are extremely important, and I'm sure there's many other organizations like that out there. So I just want to tip my hat and say thank you to all of them.
And the Last Prisoners Project is what's being represented in DC, among others.
Yes.
Among others. And around that time is also 420.
Wee.
So what is 420? And I know everyone's excited about 420. This is my first 420, actually. I'm experiencing a lot of firsts with you guys. This is my first 420. But what is 420 to you?
420 to me is, well, this year means something different because I get to join the fight for people who are locked up right now for nonviolent cannabis offenses. So it holds a special place for me because I was just in that situation about 48 months ago, or 24 months ago. Sorry. But also too, it's a celebration of our culture. To me, it's the same thing as in any holiday or parade. It's a celebration of our culture, who we are, and 420 in the cannabis culture. It encompasses so many different things. It encompasses hip hop, rock and roll, art, advocacy, industry. I mean, it encompasses so many things. So yeah, this 420 is special for me. This is my first 420 as a free man. This is my first 420 as a legal operator within the cannabis industry in New Jersey. But it's also my chance to speak to lawmakers. So this 420 is extremely special and important to me.
You know what? Let's discuss New Jersey. So in New Jersey, as well as New York, cannabis is legal in our respective states. As someone who is a free man and who operates and manages and deals with different levels of distribution of cannabis on this side, what is that like?
It is crazy to, I'm a just a real quick story. When I was opening up a dispensary in Runnymede called Fazal, I was the inventory manager there. I helped them to open their doors. the security that we worked with was all chiefs of police and, you know, it was all these older white gentlemen, and they were extremely polite and nice. But that same politeness would not have been the same 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have been getting slammed against the wall and chased down like a runaway slave. So present day, to be standing there with them on parole, and they're talking to me how great weed is, and they love all of this. It's really it's a mind warp. It really is. It's crazy to have, because I'm one of the people that I'm probably one of the last people in the country who actually got chased down and arrested and did a lot of time for it. I mean, I hope I'm the last. I say that. I hope I'm one of the last group of people that happens to. So to be talking to these cops like that in New Jersey, the same state that I did my first prison term over weed, it is really a mind warp. I see it as a positive, though. I'm glad that I'm glad that as human beings we could turn around and say, hey, you know what? I was wrong for that. Let me treat this guy normal. So that I try to look at everything on a positive. So that's how I look at the cannabis industry in New Jersey on that aspect. On a whole nother aspect, the corporate legalization of cannabis. A lot of people aren't a fan of it. I feel like the major MSOs laid the landscape and the grid work for the smaller retails and cultivations like Spark Nine, and so I just see some of the stuff, some of the pitfalls that maybe us who I don't have $30 million to play around with. I think that they kind of got everything worked out for us, and so I see a positive in them running the industry before the mom and pops came in. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's important to have different perspectives when it comes to dealing with not just legalization, but the building of an infrastructure and building of an industry. So we're not going to sit here and act like everything doesn't play a role.
Right.
You mentioned Spark Nine, and I'm going to mention it really quick. Shout out. But you are their chief impact officer.
I am.
What is that like?
This is a role that fits me perfectly. I am a people person. I love bridging the gap between people who might have been lawmakers or looked at this one way, but now has to speak to me as a prominent businessman. And I love the fact of meshing the cultures of people. So I think that role fits me perfectly because I'm perfect for making the impact in the community. I like to reach back in the community. I like to educate and make people feel comfortable with who I am and what cannabis is.
With that being said, you and I have had lots of conversations about the distinction between skill set and education. I am not knocking anyone's education, and I'm not knocking anyone's skill set. And I think you are a great example of how to turn the importance of having a strong skill set and a commitment to that skill set and translating that into a career.
Yes.
How do you explain your skills and your experiences as someone with a like yours?
So I kind of keep it. I mean, I'm specific about it, but I also keep it broad because a lot of my skills and education were learned and gotten in the black market, which they call a legacy market. So I'm just honest, actually. I when I'm doing for a cannabis company, I let them know, hey, I am legacy, and I know this, and this from doing what I did. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty out there in the open, and actually, at this point in the industry, that's kind of like having a college degree.
That is true. And as someone who has learned a lot from you, and I am grateful for the fact that you do take time for me to teach me the industry from a different perspective. And I like the fact that it doesn't have the formality. I think sometimes when we talk about industry, we hear it sounds like a big word. It's a big word for Elmo. So when you have someone who says don't look at it as industry, look at it as a community that is cultivating a type of revenue stream off of something that is important to us.
Yes.
It changes the mindset. How do you and I really been wanting to ask this question for like the longest time. Do you ever see yourself as a teacher?
I don't. I don't. And not to say that I don't see myself as somebody who gives education out, because I do, but I don't see myself as a teacher or anything like that. I just see myself as somebody who's like big bro with everybody. You know what I mean? Or big cousin everybody, because I've been through it and I've been there and I've been through the hard times and the good times. And so I just try to lead the way with positivity and also my experiences. You know, I think that that's it's just a part of. You never hear the term "it takes a village," so it's kind of like a part of that. You know, what I mean, I'm just doing my part as a part of this community and a part of this village that cannabis culture is.
If you were to introduce cannabis culture or the cannabis industry to someone who is kind of like me in the sense that know at first they knew absolutely nothing, but they're open to learning, what would be your first sentence?
My first sentence would be to first of all take it slow. Like anything, take it slow. Whether you're digesting information, whether you're learning how to ride a bike, no matter what it is in life, you take it slow and you go through each step. So if somebody's interested in trying cannabis for the first time, I suggest taking it slow, a little bit at a time. If somebody wants to learn how to grow cannabis, take it slow. Learn it from the seed stage and go on up. You know, so that's pretty much my first sentence would be. First of all, when it comes to cannabis, we are going to take it step by step.
I should have learned that lesson the hard way.
Then we go.
That's not what I did. Ooh, those phone calls and those text messages, y'all were troopers. I'm not gonna lie, because you would answer questions nice, and I really, real talk, I really felt like an idiot when I was asking questions. But if I knew full blown well, if I was gonna work with, someone like you or Al or any of them, I needed to make sure that I'm respectful of what you guys are building.
Right.
And not just for New Jersey, but the ripple effect that follows.
Right.
And the one thing I have to stress that is that you see this not as New Jersey, you see it as what it could mean federally, what it could mean when it comes to trade. I mean, you and I have had plenty of conversations about that. What can people like myself do to help with that conversation or further support that conversation? Because it can't be all on you guys. That's not right.
No, I think that just doing exactly what you're doing. Getting involved in the industry, in any capacity. You don't have to be in cannabis. You don't have to grow cannabis. It's an industry just like anything else. So you need marketing. You need real estate. I mean, there's countless jobs. I mean, we can go all the way down to custodial jobs and everything. And so, I mean, I treat it the same way as any other industry, honestly.
You've seen a lot of supportive industries getting into it, especially in the roles of real estate, education. You've seen like Stockton University is working on a cannabis program. Excelsior, shout out to New York. Excelsior, CUNY, which is the City University of New York, State University of New York. And I know California has a few things. You're seeing a lot more cannabis education programs connected to degrees. Do you feel like that's a good step forward in this fight? Like, do you think that it's something that people basically say it's an inevitability, we need to be prepared for it, or you think it's going to be a flighty situation?
I think that it's important for people to get education. I think it's great that that the educational institutions are now opening up classes for people to learn more. I think that us, this first generation of people that's on the legalization wave and opening up the industry, what we're doing is important, but you have to look down the line. And so down the line, we need the future generations and people coming behind us to have more education and see what other benefits you can get out of plant, how else you can grow it more organically or healthier. So of course we always want to be evolving. So I love that educational institutions are opening those classes. And what's funny is I'm actually taking classes this next semester on cannabis business, like how to actually operate business, what it takes. And I actually got a scholarship for that through Last Prisoner Project. Thank you so much. But yeah, I love I love that the education is there.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hyped. Yeah!
Yes.
Congratulations!
I never thought I would get a college degree, and now I'm getting a college degree in the thing that I love. So that's awesome.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yes.
Way to bury the lead, Kyle. Oh my God, that's fantastic. When do you start? I don't know why. I just need to know. When do you start?
So I just did they just gave me the scholarship. I just did the application. I don't have an exact date for starting yet, but I just know that I got it. So.
Well, you know, if you need any help, I got you.
All right.
Study hall.
Yes.
Oh, this is so cool.
I'm super excited.
Oh, I'm excited for you. You've earned it. And I think that's the part that people need to understand, especially with everything you've been through. You've earned this.
I mean, you know what? I'm usually very about it, but I feel like I earned it too. I feel like I put my times in. I feel like everything that's coming to me is it's what I have put forth, the steps that I put forth. I think that I deserve to be in the industry. I think I deserve to get the education, and
Yes.
I think that this is going to be a new experience for me. I've never done any college or anything like that, so this is all new to me, and I'm very, very excited in a positive way.
You know that means you're a geek like the rest of us, right?
Yes.
But I am so happy to. But you can be along to the brag.
Thank you. Go ahead. You do the bragging.
Yeah. I got you. I'm excited. Oh, that graduation party is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. We gonna turn up.
Yeah. I'll eat. Y'all turn up. Eat the food. You know me. I can't help it. I'm a dork.
Yes.
I'm okay with myself. I've embraced it.
I ain't mad at you. I'll be over there eating with you, but I'm also gonna turn up.
Exactly. But I'm gonna be popping grape juice. So, but I'm so excited. 2024 is really your year, man.
It really is. It really is. So many big things have happened this year.
So, besides legalization, I know everyone got their standards and what they would like to see. Besides, legalization, more social justice, what do you want people to see when the first thing they hear about or visit a dispensary or anything involving cannabis? What's the thing that goes, when I see this, I connected to this? What is that? I know that was like an SAT question, but yeah.
I want people to see when they come into dispensaries, I want them to see inclusion. I don't want your 65-year-old smoker to walk into a dispensary or any every dispensary they go in is blasting music that they don't know, or there's always the young this and young that. I want it to be inclusive. I want everybody to have a place in this industry. I want to have various different types of dispensaries. I want to go to one dispensary has one flavor. I want to go to another dispensary has another flavor. I want to see variations of product in the dispensary. Right now, I don't see that. I see everybody has the same stuff. I'd like to see more local growers in the dispensaries. I like to see different variations of products, from indoor to outdoor to greenhouse to all organic to salts, and I want to see inclusion and variation. That's what I want to see.
Okay. Now, I have a social media question. You prepared?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
How can we best utilize social media in the process of in the advocacy and education of legalization and the transition to post-legalization or post-federal legalization?
So repeat the question. Repeat the question one more time for me.
So social media is a very big thing. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. There's like thousands of social media apps right now, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, as you know, I'm for a positive and informative social media experience. But I know social media plays a role in education, information, and advocacy. What is the role of social media in your perspective that can help with legalization and post-legalization, as in the transition for it to be part of our norm?
So social media, one, can be used to reach so many different audiences. I think that a lot of people are visual, and I think also too, social media uses visual and then catchy music to catch people, and then on top of that, you can have the information in there. So I think that social media is a way of getting into the ears of all types of different Americans, not just Americans in one neighborhood or one tax bracket. I think that we can talk to everybody, and so I think that social media is an extremely important tool. It's a way of us not only growing our audience, but also to building ourselves. 'Cause within social media, you can put a question out there and get 70 different opinions from 70 different people, within your comments. So you can learn what people like. You can learn what the trends are. You can be on top of trends. You can educate. You can get the word out. You can link to other things. I think that social media is now become not just now. I think it's been an important tool in business, and it's even a bigger tool in cannabis because cannabis encompasses so many different just music and age gaps and everything. So I think social media is in the top five of our tools in the cannabis industry.
What are the other four?
The other four would be, so we have social media is one of our
Mm-hmm.
education and cultivation, education and customer service. Trends, a trend is a big tool for us in the cannabis industry. If you look at any cannabis event, it's kind of like a fashion show. Not exactly that you have to be dressed the best, but it's like your originality. So I also say trends, and then the most important thing in cannabis is to have good cannabis, nice clean cannabis. So those are the things for me that are important, and I'm sure other people will come up with other things, and I'm sure that I will agree with them. But off the top of the head, those are very important things. Five important things for me in cannabis.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I've actually asked Al, and I feel like between you two, that question should be between you two. Bad
Okay.
actors. Every industry has them. I have them. We all know
Mhm.
you. How in this, unlike real estate where we have to treat the rules and codes of bad actors,
Mhm.
we've had time to cultivate that
Mhm.
relatively quickly. Cannabis doesn't have the same luxury as we do.
Okay.
So how do you address the or manage or hold the bad actors accountable? Because they also impact
Mhm.
the quest of legalization. They also impact how what this means to you and your story and your journey as well. It may not impact you directly, like if they're not
Mhm.
rolling up on you, knocking on your door and stuff, but it does impact the overall. So, how do you address bad actors in your industry?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really encountered any bad actors yet in the industry. I've, of course, encountered some annoying people, but as far as people who would just like, I mean, just trying to be facetious to people, or and and just trying to give like negative to people. I mean, you got people who have bad days at work, but I honestly have not run into anyone who's just like, I'm like, that person is a bad person. Like, no, I haven't yet. But when I do, I'm going to approach that person with positivity. I mean, I think that I'm convinced that positivity is the only way to kill negativity. I don't think that you can come back if you throw a punch at me and I throw a punch at you, we're just fighting. We're not we're not getting to the bottom of it, we're not communicating. So therefore, I think that approaching any bad situation with positivity is how you're going to get the best outcome.
That sounded so nice. I think that and the reason why I always ask those questions is because we see the people we know those people out there smoking weed. It's gonna
Mhm.
legalization's inevitable. I always say that
Yeah.
it's gonna be a thing. It's not going anywhere. But it's always a common question is okay, so now we have legalization. Now how do you deal with the people who are in it?
Hmm.
And while it benefits lots of great people, you got that weird percentage of people who are usually the minority
Hmm.
that like to cause drama for unnecessary reasons.
I'm so glad
So
I have not not run into those people yet. Everybody that I've met has been, I mean, it's almost like people are more behaved for some reason because it's like, you know, like they're like, okay, look, don't do that there because that you'll get in trouble for smoking that there, but you can stand over here, or you know, like just, I mean, I'm just using that as an example, but everyone that I've met has been super. I mean, everybody's really like nice and respectful, and I mean, I've met some people that had, you know, bad days, like I said before, but I never met anybody that was just facetiously mean or negative.
Okay. If Well, the good thing is that you're prepared to not kind of to dissolve or not dissolve to, you know, set up that it's not something that can be controlled. So if
Mhm.
someone, if you deal with a bad actor, you're not trying to fight fire with fire.
No, no.
Okay. And it's important for people to know, especially someone of your caliber that does travel the country, that does advocate,
Mhm.
that how do you deal with things that are common.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's
I've had people come on like my posts. I've had like some people come on my post and say, you know, stupid stuff or negative stuff. Like on like one of my last Prisoner Project posts, I forgot. I think it was some guy came on and was like, "Oh yeah, 6 years is not that bad. What are you doing for people that serving 25?" You know, like just trying to stir up a drama or like make a competition with how much time people have done. I just I just ignore that question because I understand that no matter what I say, this person is going to come back with negativity. And so I just, like I said before, I continuously move forward with positivity. And I just try to never mind the negativity.
I would just wish no one got arrested for something so organic at
Mhm.
all, to be honest with
Right.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's real crime in this country, and that's not one of them.
Correct. Yes.
But, you know, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people that are going to, you know, talk smack, as you said, and say
Mhm.
negative things. And unfortunately, it's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that there's people out there that have a level head and understand that sometimes it's just them and their issues.
Exactly. Exactly. You never
So
know where somebody's at or what they're dealing with. And that's another thing I'd say. Like that person might be having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month. Maybe that's not who they are. So I'm not gonna take that as a representation. I'm gonna never mind them. Now if they continuously do, I'm like, yeah, that guy's a jerk. But, you know,
you're not going to feed into it, basically, which is
right?
good
Exactly.
to know, because in the world we live in today, it's very easy to feed into someone else's anger and make that the conversation. So thank you for that.
Mm.
Another thing
Well,
is, what is your 2024 looking like, besides the fact that you're getting educated now, you're going to hang out with us nerds.
2024. So I'm now working for Life Prisoner Project as a constituent. I'm also doing work with several other cannabis companies doing like product ratings and such. Spark9 is opening soon. We are going to secure a property. EC Dank, which is my personal brand, is launching like next month or something like that. We're launching. I'm helping to open up a retail in Vermont, and I'm also dancing around the idea of I'm doing consulting work for a grow in California. So 2024 is a lot of work for me, but I'm welcoming it and I'm asking the universe for more. I want to keep going.
Real quick, tell me about
Mhm.
EC Date, because we haven't spoken about that in a minute.
So EC Bank is my brand, and actually my street name or whatever was Dank. Everybody called me Dank because I was always the weed man. I always smoked the best weed. But EC Dank stands for East Coast and Dank, and obviously I'm an East Coast person, and so I'm highlighting. I like to start off by highlighting the East Coast strains, the what we've brought to the market, what we like to smoke, and I'm of course, everything that I do, a profit of such part of the profits are going to go back to social justice reform or helping people who are coming out of prison or people who are in prison, helping their families with phones on and such like that. So, anything that I do is a piece of it is going to go back to the people. That's just the way it is. If I can't do that, I'm not doing the project. If it doesn't help the people, I don't want to be involved. So that's what EC Dank is. And we are coming out. We have lotions, we have balms, we have cartridges, we have pre-rolls and flour, as well as many other products coming up. As the industry develops, we will be evolving with the industry. And so it's my personal baby. Me and Sam Groves, he's my CEO. Me and him are taking on the industry and trying to put forth give it our little bit of seasoning,
Once again, that's why I said you are a man of many talents.
Thank you.
Because think about it, you got advocacy, which is education. So advocacy, education, corporation, brand awareness. So you really don't have like one. When people have, sometimes we introduce people in podcasts, they have like this huge thing. I can't do that with you because you're someone that has so many moving parts to you that I feel like one general bio makes no sense. But so this is going to sound really, 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 really corny, but you're also on Spark Conversations.
I am Spark Conversations. Of course, I enjoy everything I do with Spark Now. Spark Now is for everybody out there. Spark Now is like a family. The way we talk to each other, how we do our business meetings, we do everything. And so Spark Conversations for me is the same thing. It's like I'm talking to my family, and my family is not only Spark 9, but the whole cannabis culture out there. It encompasses all of that. So
I'm really excited about what's coming up this year. I am excited. I know I keep saying I'm cautiously optimistic, but I am excited. It's just, a lot of things happen. You guys are not normal. This is not a normal process. No, because think about it. Like from the very beginning, it started off literally. It sounds really weird. Everything started off with a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it like you remember last year, like, it started off with a piece of paper, and now we're discussing property and distribution and definitely. So much has happened in basically over a span of like roughly a year. And that it's not just for Spark 9, but for you guys as well, especially for you. I mean, it was fast.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it does feel extremely fast, but it also felt like I've been fighting to get something going for like the past 2 years since I've been home. So, I mean, yeah, it was extremely fast because you know what? Everything I was working on, it felt like it wasn't going to happen, and then it all happened at the same time. It was like, whoa, this is all happening, yeah.
Right. So I think that's why I was like really excited that we finally got you, because everything was happening so quickly that we really did try to like carve out time to talk and see what's up and discuss what's going on in the industry, but also what's going on with your career. And I'm being honest, you inspire me.
Thank you.
And I wanted people to see what I see every day. Like I get to enjoy this every day.
You get to deal with me every day.
Like that's the cool part. Like I get to, if I wanted to tomorrow and I had a question or I have a concern or anything like that, I get to text you guys and go, hey, what do you think about this? How do you feel about that? Explain this to me a little bit more. I have a privilege. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not a privilege that's afforded to everybody. It's afforded to me. And I get to be surrounded by people who are saying, you know what, she really is trying. She understands what this is. And she just, needs to know that what these things translate into. But you also take the time out to say, you're okay. Because when we first met, I wasn't prepared for anything that was happening.
I know. You were like, what is happening right now?
Yes, like the first time I met you was the first time I went to a cannabis convention. So I'm very lucky about that. And I want people to see not just Spark 9. And don't get me wrong, I love Spark 9. And that's how I met you guys. And that's how like a good part of my career is being built right now. But I want people to see and hear who you guys are and what it took to get to this point and what you are building for yourselves. Because I think that's the part that should be celebrated.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't easy. I know it was a lot of sacrifice. I know it was blood, sweat, tears, fights. You know, there was a lot that went into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you deserve your flowers. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, also, Al had his episode, so you're next. So, I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you for having me on, for real. Like, this is, I definitely enjoy talking about cannabis. I like talking about weed more than I like talking about myself. So I'm glad to be talking more about the industry and weed.
Well, I thought you would enjoy that more than talk about like the birthplace of Kyle to now, and that's a little Netflixy.
Yeah. We're gonna, you know what? We're gonna save that for the Netflix special. That's what we're gonna do.
So I know there's a lot that we got to do this week, so this was the perfect time to do it because once Monday hits, I'm apologizing in advance for your email.
It's about to go crazy. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So, what do you want? I know we're wrapping up soon, but what do you want people to know about you, Kyle?
Okay. I want people to know that the person that you see on Instagram, the person that you see on Spark Conversations, on Last Prisoner Project, or sends, social media, is the very same person that you're going to get. I've been the same person in prison. You can ask people that were in prison with me. I always spoke and walked down a positive path. I was always somebody who was trying to educate. Like, I used to go and print out jobs that hire felons when we were in prison, so that people that were getting out had an idea of where to apply to, just so that we can not give these people any more of our bodies, any more of our freedom, any more of our time. I want people to know that I'm genuinely passionate about what I do. I care about every person who's locked up and every person who's came home. I truly feel like those are all my comrades, my brothers and my sisters, and I feel like the cannabis industry is a family. Going state to state and going to different dispensaries and explaining that I'm from Jersey and I'm in the market, I always got a good welcome from people, and I love that, and I love to give that back. So I want people to know that Kyle is somebody that, obviously, if it's, a valid question, if you ever wanted to hit me on Instagram and ask me a question, you can. If you saw me in the street and was like, hey, what's up, bro? I know you from this. Can you tell me how to take care of my plants? I'm going to dap you up, maybe give you a hug, and then tell you what to do. So what you see is what you get.
Okay. Speaking of social media, how can everyone find you?
You can find me on East Coast and Dank on Instagram. I'm also Kyle Page on LinkedIn, and that's pretty much it. I know I need to get more social media. Everybody tell you to give us more social media.
Yes, you do.
That's what I have. And
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Respectfully.
Yes, respectfully.
Well, it was great having you. Are coming back, you know that, right?
Yes.
I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Because I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're coming back after Spark 9 opens.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
You're doing this again. You know that, right?
I can't wait.
Okay. But I'll talk to everyone later.
Okay.
And